Hello, Madridistas. Welcome back to RM and More. I hope you're enjoying the start of the season and that football, as always, keeps giving us intense emotions. Today, we're going to analyze Real Madrid's latest La Liga match against Mallorca. A tense game marked by controversial refereeing, disallowed goals, and, in the end, a hard-fought 2-1 victory, with goals from Arda Guler and Vinícius Junior. Without a doubt, there's a lot to break down, so get comfortable, because we're going to go through everything: the refereeing decisions that shaped the match, the key moments, standout players, what worked, and what this could mean for the team's immediate future. Backhand index pointing right before we start. Remember, if you enjoy this kind of analysis, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this video with other Madridistas. That helps us keep growing and bring you daily Real Madrid content. Today we close this first stage of La Liga before the FIFA international break, with 3 wins from 3 matches. But today's game was a real emotional roller coaster. We got the 3 points, yes, but what happened on the pitch almost felt like a refereeing tragedy. Sanchez Martinez was once again in the spotlight, with incomprehensible decisions, 3 goals disallowed and a permissiveness toward Mallorca that disconnected the team at key moments. Real Madrid came into this match with a season start full of highs and lows. Mallorca, historically an uncomfortable opponent for the big teams, didn't disappoint. The Santiago Bernabéu expected a total control game from Madrid, but what we saw was far more complex. Los Blancos had to fight against the odds, dealing with controversial refereeing and a Mallorca team that never gave up. The start was thrilling. Madrid tried to impose their game from the first minute with possession and high pressing. Vinícius, from the left, constantly tried to create imbalance, while Mbappé moved to link up in the attack. But the first major protagonist of the match was the VAR and the refereeing decisions. Madrid seemed to open the scoring in the 5th minute after a spectacular pass from Trent to Mbappé, who finished with a powerful shot. However, the goal was disallowed after VAR review. The image shown to the public indicated an offside by just a few millimeters of Mbappé's forehead, raising many doubts. After years of controversy with Spanish refereeing, it's hard to trust the selection of the correct VAR frame. This is how the controversy began. Referee and VAR seemed determined to cut off any advantage for Madrid. Far from retreating, Mallorca reacted. They controlled the game for several minutes and exploited the lack of intensity in Madrid's first line of pressure. Barrios, Pablo Torres, and Darder moved freely, and while they didn't create clear chances, they managed to control Madrid's build-up. Finally, a corner resulted in a header from Muriqi, putting Mallorca ahead 0-1 and delivering a heavy blow to the Bernabéu. The first disallowed goal was a strong psychological blow for Real Madrid. However, starting from the cooling break, Xabi Alonso adjusted positions, especially for Vinícius and Alexander-Arnold, and Madrid began to recover the ball, creating the plays that would decide the match. From a right-side corner, Carreras doubled to the far post, Huijsen returned the ball into the box, and Arda appeared to push it in. Less than a minute later, Valverde stole the ball from Mori after Carreras' pressure. Vinícius surged forward, and finished with a low shot after a couple of feints. Before halftime, another controversy: Guler threaded a pass to Mbappé, who lifted the ball over the goalkeeper and scored, but VAR ruled offside. Again, there were no clear images or line traces to justify the decision, increasing frustration. Mallorca finished the first half with only 1 foul called, despite having 30% possession, while Madrid had 67% control and multiple fouls called against them. The crowd left the first half with the classic chant, Negrera, Negrera, and corruption in the federation. The second half was calmer, with no changes, as Madrid had managed the first adversity with composure. Mallorca kept seeking opportunities, taking advantage of fatigue and the psychological blow of the disallowed goals. One of those goals, disallowed for Arda due to a handball before the finish, was the only decision that could be considered correct according to the rules, though the immediacy between the handball and the shot created divided opinions among analysts. Individually, Vinícius had a good game, including a goal, leaving in the 70th minute. Álvaro Carreras was the best player on the pitch, safe, attentive, and decisive with a spectacular goal line clearance. Militao was flawless in ball progression, and Trent had his best match so far, combining with Mbappé and participating actively in both defense and attack. The coordination between Mbappé and Vinícius stood out for their pressing, recovery, and constant connection, the best since they started playing together. Mastantuono showed youth and personality, though he still lacks experience with his teammates and in European football. Guler was omnipresent in the final third and central to one of the controversies. Valverde showed commitment, though he could project more down the right flank. Refereeing conditioned the rhythm of the match, with controversial decisions and disallowed goals, but Madrid showed character, smart tactical adjustments, and constant pressure, tipping the result in their favor. Now it's time to wait for the break and see how the team evolves in the next matches. In summary, it was a hard-fought game, full of controversies and much to analyze. Madrid won 2-1, facing questionable refereeing and an opponent that never gave up. The positive takeaway: character, comeback, and 3 crucial points. The negative takeaway: there are still tactical and concentration aspects to improve. Backhand index pointing right. Let me know in the comments what you think about the refereeing and the team's performance. Do you think this Madrid is ready to dominate the season? And remember, if you enjoyed this analysis, subscribe, leave a like, and share this video with other Madridistas. At RM and More, we keep our finger on the pulse of Real Madrid day by day.